Hey, how y'all doing? It's Cooking with Dave once again. I'm Dave. I am the world's greatest chef. It says so right here on my apron. And y'all know my apron wouldn't lie to us. Welcome to Cooking with Dave from the Windy State. I'm talking about windy. Man, it's windy. Nobody ever told me New Mexico was so windy. You know, back in the 80s, I lived in Arizona for 2 years, and I had no idea that New Mexico would be so different. But I'm talking about windy. Oh, it is so windy. Here on the news, they have a wind forecast. That's right, a wind forecast. What's that about? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about windy. So about the wind forecast, they said it's going to be sustained winds. Sustained winds. Not talking about gusts, mind you. I'm talking about sustained winds of 55 to 60 miles an hour, with gusts up to 70, maybe 80 miles an hour. That's windy. There's no hurricane. There's no tornado. It's just wind. The whole state. I'm not talking about just where I am. It's high in elevation. We're 7,500 feet above sea level. I can understand. Okay, we're way up. It could be windy, but the whole state is that way. We went towards Albuquerque. We took the RV down towards Albuquerque and parked it down there, and gonna spend a couple of days in it, see how things went. I couldn't sleep. I thought the RV was going to turn over. I'm serious. I thought it was going to flip over. Every time I nod off, the RV start rocking, and I'd be like, oh no, it's going to turn over. It didn't, but I thought it was. Couldn't sleep. Next day, got up, packed it up, and came home. Man, windy, oh windy. New Mexico is the windy state. I wonder if there's other states out there that are as windy. I know Texas is having a problem. It's pretty windy. Texas is right next to New Mexico, and the wind just goes right over to Texas, I'm sure. It's fanning the flames, the fire, the problems they're having in Texas. Man, it's crazy. Crazy wind. No reason for the wind. I'm talking no hurricane, no tornado, just wind. Anyway, today I'm going to cook Grandma's stew beef hash. Grandma's stew beef hash is good. I put this video up probably 3 years ago. Nobody liked it, and didn't get a lot of response off it. I took it down. I want to put it back up. I made a brand new video for Grandma's stew beef hash. This is some good stuff, man. I'm telling you, it's good. I think people didn't like it because of the grits, but you don't have to use grits. You could use rice. You could use bread. You could use whatever you want. If you wanted to have some SOS, chipped beef, you could use this recipe and just leave out the potatoes. Use the stewed beef, use the onions, use the garlic, cook it a long time, it's good, and then put it on some toast, have it for breakfast, and call it SOS or chipped beef, as they call it. It's some good stuff. I'm telling you right now, you've got to try this. It is good. You'd be impressed with the flavor. Comes from the onions in this, man. I used to try to duplicate this when I was younger, and I never could get it right. Finally, I asked Grandma, what's the secret? Grandma said the secret is onions. Put onions in there, cook it until the onions are gone. Once the onions are gone, it's ready to go. All right, here we are back at our trusty stainless steel pot. We're going to turn our heat to medium and add a little butter, or you can use some olive oil or some vegetable oil or whatever you like. We're going to hit that with, I don't know, 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 tablespoons of garlic. And we're going to add 2 whole chopped onions. The flavor from this thing's all coming from these onions. We're going to have 2 whole onions chopped up. Give that a good stir. Alright. A little salt and pepper. Pepper, a little more pepper. For those of you that like fresh cracked pepper, I'll put a little more pepper, and a little more pepper, a little more pepper, and you never would know it was not fresh cracked. A little salt, a little bit of salt, and give it a stir. We're going to use 2 pounds of some stewed beef. It says stewed meat, but it's stewed beef. With our onions and our garlic, salt and pepper. Grandma's stew beef hash. Alright, I'm going to hit that. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of pepper. A little more pepper. And then, y'all know, I'm going to use some Italian seasoning. Italian seasoning. Some more Italian seasoning. Some Italian seasoning. And a little more Italian seasoning. Alright. Give that all a big stir. We want to just make our stewed beef brown. And then we will come back and add some beef broth to it. And some potatoes. And we will make it good. So I'm going to put a lid on it. I'm going to put it on medium. And put a lid on it. And just let it cook. Till it all gets nice and brown. And we'll go from there. Alright, I've been cooking this now about 20 minutes, just till it all gets kind of brown, looking good. Now I'm going to turn my heat down to almost low, a little above low maybe. I'm going to add 2 cups of some Better Than Bouillon beef broth. You can add some chicken broth. If you don't have any broth, you can use water. Just add a little salt and pepper with your water, and it will be fine. I'm going to give that a stir. And then I'm going to let that simmer and cook for quite a while, probably about an hour, until my stewed beef starts to get tender and just falling apart. I want this thing just to be tender and meat just becoming part of the gravy almost. It's gonna be good. Alright, here we are back at our beef stew. I have been simmering this about an hour, maybe a little longer, an hour and 20 minutes. The beef is getting tender. I had to add a little water to it. You want to keep some liquid. You want to keep it liquid, you know, in there. Make sure it don't burn now. Just simmering it, getting everything to be tender. All those onions, well, onions in this, you know, and those onions are getting part of that juice. Man, this thing's gonna be good. Alright, well, when I think my stewed beef is tender enough, falling apart, juicy, I have about, y'all see this? I have about 8 potatoes, diced up, about 1/4 inch, maybe a little bigger, 1/2 inch. Just diced them up. I'm just going to put all those right in there. About 8 potatoes, peeled and diced. Give them a big stir. And we're going to add enough water, or you can use chicken broth or beef broth. I'm also going to use some water, just to make sure all that is covered up. We want everybody to be covered with some liquid. A little water, let's see how we did. I'm going to add a little bit more. A little bit more water. Make sure everybody is covered up. That's pretty good. This is going to cook down a little bit. So you really have too much water and not enough. So let's just add the rest of that jug there. That's about right. We're covering, everybody's covered up. Give it a nice stir. And we added that water. So we're going to put a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt. And just a little bit of pepper. I knocked the bottle off the counter. It'll be alright. A little bit of pepper. Give it a nice big stir. And then we're going to let this simmer for about 30 minutes. And we'll see what it looks like. Here we are. We've been simmering it for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I've been simmering it since I put the potatoes in there. Everything's done and tender and wonderful. I'm going to add some milk to it. Alright, so now I'm going to take me some milk and I'm going to hit it with some milk. Just enough pretty much to change the color. I don't know, about a 1/2 cup. Make it look like it's creamy and looking good. That's looking good. That's looking like Grandma's stewed beef hash right there. Alright, that's what we do. We take a little grits. Give it a little stir. I cooked it for about another 5 minutes after I added the milk, just to get it back up to temperature. And then just take a spoonful of that and put it right there on top of my grits. Now, if you don't want to use grits, you don't have to. You could use rice or bread, or you could just eat it by itself if you wanted to. Ain't nothing wrong with just potatoes and beef. That's gonna be good. All right.